we have a training called a productivity leader training that we offer, which is equivalent to a lean green belt. And we try to showcase different case studies from our students at different points to talk about improvements that they've made in their workplace using some of the tools that they've learned and stuff. And of course, it's not just about the tools, it's about people like Christine doing a fantastic job of implementing the tools and having the ability to implement them. So today we're very happy to have Christine Savage join us from Atlas Copco. Christine is the IMS coordinator there, and she's generously donating her time to share her learnings and what she got out of this training. Christine, do you have anything to add before we move on to the next slide?
No, I'll let you continue.
Sounds great. So this is our core team. Basically, if you're not familiar with us, we have a few consultants that are full-time, and then our part-time staff are not shown on there. And we are located specifically in Sudbury, but we do business all over the place, as you can see. So our head office is in Sudbury. We have people in North Bay, in Timmins, Ottawa, Toronto, and we're servicing the whole Highway 11 corridor these days. So I'm up north a lot, and that's far north. So these are some of the companies that we work with in the mining industrial sector, and these are some of the companies we work with in the healthcare / social services and community services sector. And we have a few hospitals that we're currently working with as well. And this is actually from the North Bay Nugget. In the middle over there, you can see Christine. On the left, it's Derek Polano, our vice president. That's myself. And then we have Ed and George on the left, who are Christine's co-workers. And collectively, they saved over $500,000 in made productivity improvements of over $500,000. So that was very, very impressive. And a little bit just for context, people might not know what the productivity leader training is about. And so there's really a high return on investment on the training if you actually come to it, or one of our sessions. In the human services sector, it's 5 times. In the mining manufacturing sector, it's about a 20 times return on investment. And people might not know what lean is. So I just try to take a little bit of time in the beginning to give you an idea of what lean is, and how people actually make the time and the cost savings that they do. And really, it's an approach to systematically eliminating waste in your day-to-day processes, just by identifying what's not value added. So what's not adding value to the customer. So sometimes you're filling out forms. Is the customer really paying you money to fill out forms? Or would they pay you money if they knew you were charging them to fill out forms? Probably not. So, you know, there's things like that we look at where we say, okay, these steps that we're doing are really not adding any additional value to the customer. I know in the human services business and the government business, you're like, oh no, but we really have to fill out these forms. Absolutely, and we are doing with that. I'm just sort of making a point that there's a lot of things that are non-value added that we do that can be eliminated from day-to-day work. Christine, in your experience, is this fairly accurate? Like, is this a fairly accurate statement from what you specifically improved?
Yes, I agree with that. I kind of think of it as it's not the customer's problem. You know, we're filling out forms, or we can't find the product. We don't have a place to store the product. It's all those things that it's internal issues that, you know, if you're filling out a form because you need to send it to another department and that department stamps it. There's all kinds of areas where I find that that's exactly what the waste kind of thinking.
Yeah, awesome. So basically, what we're demonstrating is we're not necessarily talking about straight dollar cost savings necessarily, but about adding more value. And Atlas Copco's motto, and let me know if I don't get this right, Christine, is first in mind, first in What is
First in
the
mind, choice.
sorry,
First in
what?
mind, choice.
Yeah, first in mind, first in choice. So, with that motto, Atlas Copco is really interested in improving their productivity to deliver more value to their clients, where value actually means something, right? So when we talk about dollar cost savings, it's not so much to focus on that, but really improving the service to the customers is what they're focused on. And if you look at the North Bay operations, they're pretty fantastic operations, and you wouldn't think they need a lot of improvement, but you know what? Their continuous improvement is in their blood, and Christine will talk about that, and that's why they've made improvements. So really it's about doing more with the same. So adding more value with the same amount of resources. So really it teaches you how the curriculum helps is it teaches you to sustainably engage your workforce. And I know when Christine first started the training, correct me if I'm wrong, Christine, you were sort of, in the room, you were like, oh my God, really? Can we not just do it? Why do we have to go through all this, right? It was,
Yes.
it was a very step-by-step process. And if you know Christine, you know that, Christine's very forthcoming, and she tells you the way it is and the way she feels, and it was great to have her whole group was a great group. It was great to have that open communication, because it was sort of like, we really need to understand the problem and the root causes of the problem before we jump into solutioning. And that's what the course really teaches you, is understanding that at a deeper level before you jump into solutioning. So the course teaches you to sustainably engage your workforce. It teaches you how to embed the respect for the people part in your culture, which really is embedded in the Atlas Copco culture anyways. And it also teaches you the waste of eliminating the waste of not utilizing your employees' ideas. So just using the resources that you have available, and those are the human resources that are just there to help you out, right? So the training really is 3 days to start. So it's covered by Canada Ontario Job Grant, by the way. So we were able to get funding for Atlas Copco to do it, and it's a pretty easy process, eh, Christine, to get the funding? Like, is it tedious or?
No, actually, Yes Employment got a hold of the right people, and they were so helpful. And it's just a matter of filling out the forms, making sure you have the information they want back, and then we got back 2/3 of the. So it was great. They were fantastic.
That's awesome. That's a good testimonial for Yes Employment. We'll send it to them. We have it on record as well. So we started with the 3 days in class, and the reason we do the 3 days intensive too is there's a lot of people like Christine who are great at getting work done. So you have a lot of us type A's. I put myself in there that are just interested in getting the solution. And really a big part of the reason we don't get sustainable improvements done in a day-to-day basis is we don't focus on the root causes of the problem. So we're forcing their brains to think differently, to look at the root causes of the problem. Then once they go away, we do sort of group coaching teleconferences with them, just to sort of coach them through. And I think that's when Christine's aha moment came out, eh, Christine? After you went back in the coaching, because it's not right at the session, but it's sort of when you think through it and we're coaching you through it, you're like, oh, I now get it. So that's when the aha moments come out. And then we have a 2-day follow-up. So there's, we teach you about change management, how to sustain the gains. And then once we audit your project and you demonstrate that you've made some savings, then you get your certificate awarded. If you have a certificate from us, we definitely don't give them out like candy. You really earn it. So everyone that's got a certificate has really earned that certificate. And really, it also provides you with the ability to actively lead improvement projects. So we hope you don't just do the one project. We hope you do a lot more of the projects as you go through. And, we give you the practical tools, the knowledge of the lean principles. And you can choose your certificate. So you can choose either a certified lean practitioner or certified productivity leader. And I think that by doing the polls, we've heard a lot of, the productivity leader as being the preferred title, but you know, it's really up to people as to what kind of title they want in there. So finding efficiencies really helps pave the path to culture, innovation, and long-term sustainability. And we'll probably be working with Atlas Copco in the future to just embed that into the culture, but they've done some major improvements already from a one-time perspective. So we have a textbook, there's structured learning, there's a lot of fun Lego-based stuff that we do, right, Christine?
Oh yeah, that was
and then tower building and things like that. So we have some really fun hands-on activities, and we sort of teach you how to apply the concepts as we're going through it. So there's some hands-on training. And actually, since we finished with you guys, Christine, we have this new interactive technology. So at first we were fighting the laptops and the phones in the room. Now we're embracing them. So we have this interactive technology where people can actually interact with us through that technology. And we also have the Yammer group, which is a social media group that we've set up for all of our students. So it's not just about you taking the training, you have access to a whole bunch of other improvement professionals around around the province, actually. So excellence is the new normal, and that's why people like, you know, Atlas Copco or any other organization really take the training. So what's unique about the training with PACE? Really what's unique about it is that we don't just teach you like the lean concepts, we teach you a lot about the change management aspect, because teaching you a tool is like giving you a hammer and saying, oh yeah, if you hit this hammer on the nail, it goes in. But like, you know, what if you want to be a carpenter, right? Or what if you want to be able to install baseboards? You don't know how to do any of that until you learn the full context around it. So it's about the change management piece, and it's about the whole context around what you need to do. What have others achieved through the training? There's quite a few, so I'm not going to go through in detail, but you know, we've had a few, like at Surya Hospital, we have Pioneer Manor. Actually, our next webinar is going to be with Pioneer Manor, Bruce Drake. And there's lots more people that have achieved lots of different things, but we're here to talk about Christine today. So let's jump on in, Christine. We're gonna have your first slide up. I'm gonna go on to the next slide here, and we'll talk a little bit about Atlas Copco. Tell me when you want me to switch slides, Christine. I'll do that for you.
Okay. I'm from Atlas Copco Exploration Products, and we are located in North Bay, Ontario. We're the exploration division, so we manufacture and distribute drill rods, in the hole accessories, bits, and rock reinforcement bolts. And that's the big, rock reinforcement bolts is our newest product line and our biggest product line at this time. You can go now.
And those are used in tunnels and stuff, eh, Christine? Underground tunnels and whatnot?
The rock reinforcement portion of our business is just such a unique product, and it goes up into the rocks and it holds the formation so that so for tunnels, actually the new Billy Bishop tunnel in Toronto, they used our bolts to hold the tunnel in place. So yeah, it's a really unique product line.
That's awesome, and it's cool to see the Billy Bishop example, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So
talk about yourself?
Yeah. Okay. I've been employed at Atlas Copco at 26. I'm in my 27th year. I've worked in accounting, customer service, production planning, and now I've gone into the role as IMS or ISO coordinator. And my current role allows me to set my own targets and goals and work with many different individuals. So every group that works here, I work with them. Awesome.
And so why did you choose to take the Greenbelt training, Christine?
Our previous general manager, we've had a general management change, but our previous general manager was very high, very much into the Lean, Six Sigma, all the new like trainings, and he wanted us to do some Greenbelt training, and but it was important for us to find somebody that would work with us in a Northern Ontario kind of background. So when we were looking, we wanted to find someone in Northern Ontario, and we found that Pace was a good fit for us.
Awesome.
One of the big things with Atlas Copco is continuous improvement is part of our culture. It's the whole why do we want to be continuously improved. And this slide here that I gave to Neha to use is actually a slide from our book, from the book The Atlas Copco Way, and it's telling people, you know, what are the important things. It takes away unnecessary administration procedures, minimizes non-value-added activities. All of the things that Pace explained is exactly what our culture believed in. So it was a really good fit.
That's awesome. You already answered that question. Yeah. So what were some of the things at the training? Because we like to, so the reason we put this question out there is because we like to show people that if people have suggestions for improvement, we actually accept them, and that's totally normal to have suggestions for improvement. So when we say what were some of your deltas, tell us like what are some of the things that you took in our training that you thought, you know what, they could improve on this. So what were some of the things that we could improve in our training?
I think, like, I do understand the fact that, you know, when you're doing this training, you have to be committed. And I think the biggest thing is to do it off-site, to make sure. So we did a portion, I believe, off-site, and we did a portion, I believe, on-site. Yeah. And the Delta was doing it on-site because I couldn't get the commitment of the management team. So that wasn't a Delta on your on your side. It's more a Delta on our side. The fact that the training is very, very in depth, and 5 days really, and I understand like 5 days is really not enough, but in the culture that we live in the businesses that we're running, 5 days is all that people could probably give you. So it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of information, and that's that would be the Delta that I would think, just the amount of work and information that has to go into it.
For sure, absolutely. That's a very, very valid point for sure. And so here's your problem statement.
Yes, quarantine process for RDT. Now, RDT is it's an acronym. Atlas Copco is huge with acronyms. RDT is rock drilling tools, and rock drilling tools is our division. So there's Atlas Copco here, and then rock drilling tools is here. So they set our standards and they set the objectives in that. So the quarantine process for RDT customer claims was not effective. It was currently taking us 2 to 3 months longer to resolve a claim, which would result in lost sales, the customer losing faith in us, going to us, losing out to a competitor. These were huge, huge problems that we were facing. So this slide here just shows you on the left, it shows you the RDT. So our divisional standard says it should take 35 business days to process a claim from start to finish. So this is a customer claim. This is something, it's gone out in the field and it's not working properly. So we had, so it breaks it down into days, 2 days to review it, 5 to 10 days to ship it back. Because I mean, we're talking global. So we're talking all over the world. And then the transition from there to there. So it gives us a time. And the R&D investigation, which is the third one down, it said it should take 10 business days. And then make a decision, it should take 2. So that's 12 days in total. If you look on the right and you look on our side, we had some logistical problems at the top, but the big focus would have been on our R&D investigation, 40 business days, and the decision on compensation was 20 business days, because in those two was kind of combined, and that's where we were having all our problems. So from there, in order to kind of to speed this along, I invited a lot of these stakeholders, were all the people that I felt that impacted it. So we had the warehouse supervisor, we had the production managers. We had the same, like, production managers for the rod line, all the managers involved, because it was just not just the claims process, it was the whole process. Our whole warehouse, we were missing a link. So all these people together talking, and it was crazy because they were talking over each other and talking at once, and it was like, I need a place to put my stuff. Well, you're not important, I'm important. So it was a lot of information, and it was really cool to see it happen, and to kind of try not to solutionalize all the time and let them keep talking, and everybody kind of slowly kind of came around to an idea. So it was really a cool little process.
And really for you too, like you have a group of like a lot of type A's, right? So for you to be able to facilitate that conversation to keep them away from solutioning would have been so challenging, right?
You know, this whole lean management, all these little trainings from the time I've met you guys that I've worked, it's gotten me to a point where I can go into a meeting with any of these people and I can go, okay, I've got a start, a middle, and an end, and I can actually see the progress. So yeah, I mean, just these little training and using ideas and tips from it all over the place really helped. So it's been quite interesting. One of the in the explore stage of my project, the fishbone diagram, and the fishbone diagram, these were all the different things that were came out in the meeting. So defined RDT process, is the process reliable? You know, that was in the process. In the environment, the lack of available space, that was a huge issue. Methods, when samples arrive, like our methods, our internal methods were not up, you know. So, and then people and skills, again, unlimited availability of technical people. So these were all the different things that were thrown out in that meeting, and I had to try to kind of find a spot for them on in the explore stage.
Yeah, and just to give people more context too, is like there's every problem has several different root causes, but you as a team of experts in your own domain, right? You have to say, okay, we have several different root causes, several reasons for a problem occurring. Which ones do we want to focus on, and how do we want to improve that? And that's a key step of getting to a better solution, so to speak.
Yeah. So just by the conversations we had, and we did a Gamba walk, and we did, it came kind of a light bulb kind of thing. The first solution was to give every group an actual quarantine area. So for example, like our rod line has a specific roped off area that's only for quarantine product. Nothing else can go in there. Swellex, same thing. The claims, the technical claims handling department received their own spot. So this way, everybody had their own designated area. So a lot of these questions and things that were coming up in the fishbone program, it was not a factor anymore. Like we took all the, not all the excuses, it's not even excuses, all the reasons, and we kind of eliminate the reasons why something was happening. So by putting a designated area, writing up processes, writing up procedures, it helped us get to a point where we were confident that we could put a sample could come in from a customer and it could go to the right place and help eliminate all that extra time. So if you go to the next slide, I think that shows the results. So basically, from making a designated quarantine areas and putting in controls so things are looked at better, we reduced our initial was 84 days and reduced it down to 64 days. Yeah. We still have some problems in the business, in the R&D, but the reduction in total was a huge, like 20. It was we improved by 20 days. So our claim was 20. 20 days less to process a claim. So if you average 2 claims a month, that's 440-day improvement, and the cost per claim is $750 per claim. So it's around $30,000 a month, which worked out to about $360,000 a year, just in time and processing time that we were saving by just doing this one change.
That's awesome. That's amazing, eh? To be able to just walk through it and sort of get it. So definitely for that reason, you know, your project plus we actually don't even have Ed's numbers. I don't know if, we might have got it since then, but just yours and George's project. Hopefully we can interview George at some point in the future. That saved, you know, over $500,000, and it's so simple. That's the magic of this, right? Is that it's, you know, once you change your thinking, like you said, you know, you go into a meeting, your whole life has changed, right? Because you now look at it, start, middle, end. There's a process to all of it.
Yeah. Even plan, do, check, act, monitor, you know, all those things. Even today, I had a conversation with somebody that's relatively new to a supervisor's role, and he said, "Okay, well, what do I do now?" I said, "Well, you have to go out to the floor, and you have to explain the situation. Then you have to do your recommendation, get their buy-in. Then you have to get them their buy-in, get them to do it. Then you have to monitor it." And I said, "You just go around and around and around." And he looked at me, and then I thought to myself, "Oh my goodness, all my training is all coming together."
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's pretty fantastic. I'm actually pretty happy that, you know, just to be able to connect and see your progress. And, you know, that's one of the things in our like as we were working with a particular hospital, and we've been there for about 6 to 8 months, and just the mental model change, right? Because it's your mind, your thinking that's changing, and now you're teaching that to everybody else. So building that capacity in the organization, I absolutely love that. So I guess you're going to continue to use Lean in the future, eh?
Well, it's so funny because today it was one of those the light went on, an aha moment when I used, you know, what I learned. And Ed Lusk were just talking, and we want to take him and I want to take personally the next level. So green is brown, I think.
Yeah, there's the brown and the black belt. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we want to continue with this because we both just we use it all the time. It's great.
Yeah, and it's really the train that, like, it's really the coach. So our next level, what we're teaching for the brown belt, is the coach level. So becoming an actual coach, so you can actually deliver this type of training and things like that. So.
And that's how I feel I'd like to approach this, because I remember when you guys were talking, I remember sitting in class and thinking to myself, oh my God, would I ever be able to talk like that? Would I ever be able to think like that? And then there's today, I'm doing it, and I'm like, and now I'm on a webinar, so I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever, but it's been great.
Absolutely. And anybody can do it, right? It's like,
well, if I can, yeah.
For sure. That's awesome. So and so thanks so much, Christine, for taking the time to chat with us. And it's really awesome to see the progress you've made, because we really didn't have a lot of time to connect before the webinar. So it's really nice to hear about that. And definitely looking forward to seeing you guys take the next level as well, and go up that next step, right? And become real coaches for your organization. So thanks once again for attending, Christine.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for inviting me. This has been fun. I'm into doing new things, so yeah, this is another one I've done.
That's awesome. And for our next webinar, we have it's coming up on February 2nd. We'll have Bruce Drake from Pioneer Manor, who is one of our Greenbelt graduates as well. And Melanie Morin is actually the CEO of a software company that helps with filling shifts more quickly. It's an electronic product, and so they're going to talk about that product and the specific improvement that they made at Pioneer Manor, which is a long-term care home here in Sudbury. So that will be awesome. And if anybody is interested in attending any of our future training sessions, we have one coming up very shortly in Toronto on February 14th, in Sudbury on February 27th, Ottawa March 29th, and Timmins April 3rd to the 5th. So I think our Sudbury and our Timmins sessions are getting filled up pretty quickly. We have some room in our Toronto and Ottawa sessions. So looking forward to helping folks out. And if you guys have any questions, just put them into the chat room and we'll be online. So let us know if you have any questions. So one question that came up, Christine, is what is the one thing, the most important thing that you learned from the training?
I think the most important thing that I learned from the training was to really dig deep and figure out the whys, because you'd be surprised. I mean, we always have a knee-jerk reaction. We want to, in the fast pace we're in, so we're always solutionizing first. Mm-hmm. So why did you do that? Well, he did that because da 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 da. No, well, why did he do that? Okay, he did that because of this. Okay, why do you think that happened? Because of this. You know, why did you think that? Like, you have to dig, you have to really keep pushing. Sometimes you get a little annoyed because it's like, oh, really? But really dig deep into it and you'd be surprised at your whys. And your root cause is way down there and it's not the first thing that you think of. So that's probably the biggest thing I learned from this.
That's awesome. That's pretty great. And would you recommend other people take the training? And if they're hesitant, how would you convince them?
You know, people, I really think it's worthwhile to take this training. I think that I mean, if you're looking to grow and you're looking for improvement even in yourself, this would be the training. The only thing is you have to be a committed person. You have to do this from start to finish. There is a project involved. It turns people off, a lot of people, because but if you work at it and you honestly put in effort in, and with you guys' coaching, it's a win-win. You can't go wrong. Your company can't go wrong because you're going to help them solve a problem, and you can't go wrong because you're going to learn a different way of thinking. So
yeah, absolutely. That's great. Those are great. Awesome. So if anybody has more questions or we don't get to them in time, we will respond to them by email. So you can keep typing in the questions. But I think we're going to keep this short and sweet. It's nice to have a little half-hour video that people can watch and learn about the training and learn about what Christine did. So thank you, everybody, for attending. And thank you, Christine. Go ahead. What were you saying? Oh, there's another slide there. Is that what you're saying? Joanna is telling me to go to another slide. Are you? Oh, there. And yes, that is Christine's email address, and that's my email address. I always forget to go to the last slide. So
you have to do the last slide with the Viking helmet.
but that's your personality. You're fun, right? So that's
exactly.
It's awesome. And so feel free to give us a shout if you have any questions, and you know, we'd be happy to help you out. So thank you, everybody, for attending, and that's the end of the presentation. Take care, Christine. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, ladies. Bye.